Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Operation Mercury, the Invasion of Crete. This is a game designed by Joseph Chacon and published by Multiman Publishing. This is one of the Grand Tactical series from MMP, and recently picked it up in that amazing sale that they did. This is not a cheap game, but they put it out at such an amazing price that my curiosity about GTS has always kind of been there, but at this price I was like, you know what, I'd be stupid to pass it up. So grabbed a copy of it, and this way I can see if GTS is for me, and then if it is, hey, I can go explore the other games in this series as well. Let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. Operation Mercury allows players to recreate the desperate battle for Crete. Players command divisions and maneuver company-sized units to fight one of the most desperate battles of the war. Using the GTS 2.0 rules, Operation Mercury maintains the same level of detail and scale as other Grand Tactical Series games, and offers players a wide variety of scenarios ranging from a single small map with a few units on each side to the full battle including up to 2 German divisions and several Commonwealth and Greek brigades. Operation Mercury covers all the major airdrops and fighting across the island from Heraklion in the east through Rethymno and from Malame to Suda Bay and then south to Eskifu Plain, scene of the last major fighting during the withdrawal. As the commander of Allied forces on Crete, can you deny the Germans a precious airfield and negate their much-needed air landing reinforcements for a quick victory? And the game comes with a GTS Series Rulebook 2.0, 13 scenarios, exclusive rules, a rules summary, player aid charts, divisional charts, off-map display, 5 22 by 34-inch maps, 2 17 by 22-inch maps, 2 8.5 by 11 maps, 8 counter sheets, 4 10-sided dice, and it is company and platoon scale. X scale is 500 meters, and the time scale is 2-hour turns. It is high on the solitaire suitability, and the complexity is listed as medium. We have an example of the map graphics as well as the counter graphics here on the back of the box. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. This is a big 3-inch box. Inside we've got our 4D10s, a packing slip from MMP, Rulebook, exclusive rules, player aid cards and the rules summary, more player aid cards, our 8 counter sheets, and a whole boatload of maps. So let's set the maps, take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at one of the maps that comes with the game. This is the Heraklion area. I'm not going to lay them all the maps out because there's so many, and I don't have the table space, nor do I have the focal length on the camera to be able to show them all to you. But I figured we'll just look at this one here. It does give you a good cross-section of the type of terrain that you'll be getting on all of the maps. And not every scenario is going to use all the maps. You're going to use maybe 1 or 2 maps, maybe a couple more than that per scenario. But this will give you a feel for what you can expect on all the other maps. You've got scrub, you've got orchards, roads, airfields, cities, outposts. There are even slow-peck sides here, so terrain elevation will play a factor as well in the GTS series. Ports, fortifications, it runs the gamut as far as the types of terrain features that you'll have to contend with in the game. And we'll take a look at the player aids that come with the game. The first 2 are for the Commonwealth forces. You get your general records track, attachments, your command rating, dispatch rating, and available rear guards. And here for the 2nd New Zealand Division, same thing. And then you also have artillery and available rear guards here and attachments on the bottom. Then for the German forces, same thing. You have your general records track, artillery, command rating, reinforcements, and then also reinforcements due to arrive based on the different sticks, and then available rear guards and comp group leaders down here at the bottom. Then we also have the off-map display that is used for keeping status of all different aspects of the campaign. Then we have 2 terrain effects charts, and we'll just take a look at one here. On the left-hand side, it'll give you a listing of all the different types of terrain features that are in the game, as well as an illustrated example of them. And then you have a leg, wheeled, and tracked, the movement cost for all of those, and then whether the terrain piece is blocking terrain, if there's a modifier, and if there are any applicable comments to that piece of terrain. And on the back, we have the CRT, as well as several modifier tables, sequence of play, and an explanation of your CRT results and the interdiction table. Then we have a scenario card for Rethymno here, and on the back is the one for Heraklion. And we have a chart for tracking Allied morale level, date and time, night, and the date itself at the bottom. And we'll take a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. There are 8 of them, and the Cree Force is in brown. The New Zealanders are in tan. Different units that you'll have. And then on the right-hand side, we see the Flieger Division as well as the Gebirgs Division for the Germans. And that carries on into sheet 3. And then we finish out sheet 4 with the rest of the Commonwealth forces. And then we get into several sheets of administrative counters that you'll be using for various states in the game to keep track of those, because there's going to be a lot to keep track of here in this game. Now we'll take a look through the series rules version 2.0. On the inside front cover gives you the table of contents. It is a 40-page rulebook. Starts off the introduction, then we get to the note about the rules. And it's an important note here. It's a 40-page rulebook, and it's written in what they call a chatty style. So that way you could easily read through the rules, and there's going to be a lot of repetitive portions of the rules because you don't have to go back and search, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? They'll repeat it again to you and how it relates to the topic that they're covering. They say if you don't like that, you can go with the rule summary, which is a much shorter 8-page summary, just exactly like it says. Tells you the concepts. It just breaks down just the important text for you. And then you get into your indirect fire flow chart and the assault flow chart here. And then on the back is the direct and opportunity fire flow chart. Then we continue on with the summary description of the game, and then how to read the counters. The counters are all broken down for you to understand. Sequence play, weather phase, determining air power availability, spend dispatch points, all of the steps you'll need to do for that. Place your reinforcements, perform the activation phase, all the actions that are available to you and how those are all handled. And then barrage markers, performing your actions, moving your units. There are some illustrated examples of play in the rulebook, and that's fantastic because this looks like it's going to be a fairly involved system, so you definitely need to have some illustrated examples as well as anything that people have put out online in order to help their fellow gamers understand the game. And then we get into transport, fire combat, what units get to fire, how to determine LOS, observation points, strong points, how do you fire at a unit, and again, illustrated examples down at the bottom. Different types of fire modifiers, indirect fire, mortar units, and indirect high explosive units, along with illustrated examples of play. The different types of restrictions for artillery, how to use those in contact and contact pending markers. And then you have indirect fire explanation, how that's all handled, effects of barrage markers, opportunity fire example here, illustrated example, and then you have fire zones, assault examples, so that way you can easily follow along with how the assaults work. Then you have opportunity fire procedure and illustrated example of the assault 1 and 2, as well as the explanation of assault over to the top right. Then we get into the opportunity fire, how that's handled, resolving charges, combat results, all those are explained to you here. Cohesion hits, suppression, rallies, how do you move your leaders, illustrated examples again to continue on helping you understand the game. Understanding how a unit is in command or not in command, and then command for independent units. Activating different types of units, the white striped units here, artillery, improved positions, roadblocks, rear guards, weather, air power. As you can see, it's a fairly involved system, which looks like it'll be interesting to tackle. Then you get into night, then we have the glossary here at the end. And that carries us all the way through to the back of the rulebook. Then we'll take a look at the exclusive rules for the game. On the inside front cover, we have our symbol and picture legend. The table of contents is on the second page, so that way you can easily reference anything that you need to look up during the game. Introduction, counter symbols, exclusive rules, how to read the division colors, and then the different types of terrain that are in this game itself, specifically explaining to you how to read these maps. Then you have line of sight examples here, the sequence of play, parachute drops, glider landings, random events, how to perform your drops, the Greek routes, different types of admin counters and how those, or what those signify in the game and how those are handled. Then you have Greek units, off-map movement, and off-map movement example here. Illustrated examples continue on into the exclusive rules. Allied shipping, ad hoc airdrops, supply determination, Allied morale, Allied withdrawal, German reinforcements, Allied attachments, divisional trucks, German air support, German free drops, Allied naval support, German air attacks. And we have Allied coastal artillery, and then a note on table space. This explains that a couple of the major cities that the fighting is around, they use smaller maps for some of the scenarios, so that way you don't have to lay out the big maps, which will save you some table space. Then we get into the scenarios on page 15. Learning scenario, storming the castle to get your feet wet in the system. And then we start with scenario 1, snafu, and that starts at 1500 on May 5th, 1941. And that goes all the way through to 1900 on May 21st, 1941. So the first day plus of the battle here in scenario 1 on page 16. And it gives you all the setup instructions, your SSR, your victory conditions, and then we get into scenario 2, scenario 3. And we just have all these different scenarios. There are 13 in this book. So about 14, 15 pages were actual rules that will go on top of the 40 pages of rules, and then the rest are scenarios, which we'll just kind of breeze through the rest of these here. And then we get to scenario 13, which is the final one, free for all, and that goes from May 20th all the way to May 29th. And then we have the credits at the back, along with designer's notes from Joe Chacon and the bibliography, unit abbreviations, and then that continues over here. And then this is a layout of all the maps if you were to lay them all out side by side. So you can see that it would take up a lot of a table space, and I just don't have that right here on my table, nor do I have the camera to cover it, but that is the terrain legend on the back of the exclusive rulebook. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Operation Mercury, the Invasion of Crete, a game designed by Joseph Chacon and published by MMP. This game comes with a ton of stuff in it, and that's why the price point is as high as it is. But when MMP ran that sale, I couldn't pass it up. I've been curious about GTS before, and now with this sale, I was like, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm completely ignorant to the GTS system. I've heard a couple of things about it from people who've played, but I really don't know anything about it at all. I had gotten one of the OCS games just to check it out because I've heard a lot of great things about OCS. I found that OCS is probably not for me, at least at this point in my gaming time, my gaming career. It's not what I want to play. GTS may be a little bit more along those lines. I don't know until I play, but I'm curious enough to give it a shot. And I hope this look inside will help you if you're like me, not sure about the series and wanted to know a little bit more. You'll get a better understanding of what's inside and also why the price point it is what it is. You're getting 9 maps, 8 counter sheets, a ton of stuff. 40-page rulebook, 42-page exclusive rulebook. There's a lot of stuff here. So yeah. And on top of that, MMP prints in the United States. So that does raise the price point a little bit as well. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.